Today, we're talking about a robot vacuum that makes a pretty bold claim, that it can completely take over your cleaning for you. We're diving deep into the DREAME L50 Ultra.
I mean, isn't that the dream? Coming home to perfectly clean floors day in and day out without having to do a single thing? That's exactly the problem the L50 Ultra says it's solved. But the real question is, does it actually live up to all that hype?
All right, so let's get into it. What is the L50 Ultra, and what's it promising that makes it stand out from the, hundreds of other robot vacuums out there?
So at its core, this thing is a premium all-in-one system. The whole point isn't just to clean your floors, but to make you completely forget that cleaning is even a chore. It's really designed from the ground up to be a true set-it-and-forget-it machine.
Okay, so how is it supposed to pull that off? Well, the answer is in the tech. And there's some seriously impressive stuff packed into both the robot and its home base. Let's break down some of the standout features.
First up, let's talk about pure power. This thing has a Vormax motor that kicks out 19,500 pascals of suction. Now, if you're not familiar with those numbers, just know this. That is a ton of power for a robot vacuum. That's really the engine behind its whole deep cleaning promise.
And hey, if you've got pets or anyone with long hair at home, you're going to want to hear this. It's got something called the HyperStream Detangling DuoBrush. It's basically a dual roller system, one rubber, one bristle, and it's designed specifically to stop that awful, frustrating hair tangle that gets wrapped around the brush on pretty much every other vacuum. The mopping system is where this thing gets really clever. So, it has these two spinning mops, right? But they automatically lift up about 10.5 millimeters when they sense carpet, so you never have to worry about soggy rugs. And get this. One of the mops can actually extend out to get right up against the baseboards and into the corners. Then when the job's done, it goes back to its dock, which washes the mops with hot water and then dries them with hot air. Super smart. Now this next feature is just some wild engineering. It has what they call ProLeap retractable legs. And yeah, they're pretty much what they sound like. It lets the robot literally climb over obstacles and thresholds up to 6 centimeters high. You know those little bumps between rooms that stop most other robot vacuums dead in their tracks? This one just walks right over them.
And all of this leads to the automated docking process, which is really the heart of that whole hands-free promise. The robot docks, the base empties the dustbin, washes and refills the mops, and then dries them off. The whole shebang is automated. You barely have to touch it.
Okay, so the tech sounds amazing on paper, right? But that's just a spec sheet. The real question is, how does it actually perform in the real world? Let's get to the fun part and look at some test results. First up, deep carpet cleaning. This is one of the hardest tests for any vacuum. We're talking about getting fine sand out from deep within the carpet fibers. The L50 Ultra pulled out 90% of it. That is a seriously impressive score that puts it right up there with the best of the best. That high suction power, it definitely pays off. But what about pet hair? I know a lot of you were waiting for this one. Well, on those really tough tests, where pet hair is literally matted into the carpet, it scored a perfect 100%. 100%. So yeah, that DuoBrush system, it's not just a fancy name, it actually works. And it's not just us saying this. These incredible results are backed up by some of the biggest names in the game. The experts over at Vacuum Wars, for instance, had nothing but high praise for its carpet and pet hair performance.
But look, all that power doesn't mean a thing if your robot is constantly getting stuck on a sock, right? So how's the obstacle avoidance? Well, in controlled tests, it scored a 20 out of 24. The average robot scores around 16.6. So what that tells you is that this thing is way smarter at navigating around everyday clutter like shoes and cables without you having to go rescue it.
So the performance is obviously top-notch. But, no product is perfect. To really get the full picture, we've got to look at the good and the bad. Let's talk about the pros versus the cons. All right, so on the pro side, the list is pretty long. You've got that incredible suction power, a super capable mopping system, fantastic obstacle avoidance, and of course, that high level of automation. But there are always trade-offs. First, it's got a premium price tag. The whole setup, especially the dock, is pretty bulky, so you need to have space for it. The battery life can take a hit on max power, and you've got to remember the ongoing costs for things like bags and mop pads. Plus, in really complex homes, it can still have a few navigation hiccups now and then. So, after all that, the promise, the tech, the amazing performance, and the real-world trade-offs, it all comes down to one big question. Is the L50 Ultra actually right for you? Well, looking at everything we've talked about, this robot really shines in certain homes. Think of it like a checklist. Do you have a mix of carpets and hard floors? Check. Do you have pets that shed a lot? Check. Do you have those annoying raised thresholds between rooms? Check. And maybe the biggest one, do you just want to think about floor cleaning as little as humanly possible? If you're nodding along, then yeah, this machine was pretty much made for you.
And that really brings us to the bottom line. The DREAME L50 Ultra gets so close to that dream of a completely hands-free clean. It's one of the most powerful and automated cleaning systems you can buy today. So, the ultimate question really lands with you. Is that incredible level of convenience worth the premium price tag? That's the big one to think about. Thanks for tuning in.